Hello and good evening. Welcome back to the Competitive Speed series. My name is Frostbreath and once again I'll be your commentator for tonight. PC Tier 1. I was away last week on a vacation to Germany. I'm back. I actually came home today. I'm pretty tired, but I'm here nonetheless. We are here for round number 4 on the circuit Paul Ricard in France. A track that is no longer on the calendar in the real-life Formula 1 series, of course, but we're still doing it. And it's a pretty interesting track in league racing and pretty much this series as well. 15 corners we'll be having on this track, 2 main straights, and of course the back straight having a top speed of about 340 kilometers an hour, which is pretty fast. Then there's a beautiful right-hander as turn 11 in the third sector, which you can either gain or lose a load of time by if you can do it correctly. And if you do it wrong, of course, then you might have a big problem for yourself. Let's have a little look at the standings. WOR is still leading this series with 118 points, but GRS is not too far behind, only 15 points behind them. NLR is still climbing their way up to the top. They had another victory last week in Miami. Now they're equal on points with FFC on 88 points. Not too far behind the team of GS as well. 82 points, OP on 64. ABS, they have very fast drivers, but they're a little bit behind in the standings, currently on 40 points in 7th place. They haven't been that lucky in the races, considering their starting positions compared to their finishing positions. They could do a lot better. Let's see if they can claim their revenge, avenge themselves, so to say, tonight, as this is technically their home race. They'll have 2 French drivers for their lineup tonight. I'm looking at the list, they have yet to join. They're not the only French drivers though. For NLR we have Krizix. I hope I pronounced that correctly for the NLR team in the Haas then, next to Ivan Santamaria in the second Haas from Spain. As for the other driver lineups, we're still waiting for several. There's currently 15 drivers in. The entire ABS team is missing, and I believe from every other team at least 1 driver is currently present. For ETE, we have Beaver and Santiago Roble. We have for the GRS, Luke Mills and Crithulum. We have for the Elite Racing Team, aka ERT, George Shockley and Nathan Samba. We haven't seen Nathan Samba yet here tonight, so it's also to see a fresh name in there. For Spark Esports team, we have Antequera and Samuel Olea, both from Spain, joining for their team. The F1 Friends Cup, we have Raul Reyes and Jorge Suarez joining their lineup tonight. GS Gaming has Ivan Leonov and Marcel Papst from Austria. And then for the Outplayed Racing, aka the OP team, we have Valentino Labella. I mean, you can't get a more Italian name than that. And Candy King in their car tonight. ABS has Noé Grosjean and Tony Richet, both from France, as I said before. NLR having Ivan Santamaria and Krizix. And for the WOR Esports, we have Robert Dinolescu and Janesh Dovjan in their cars tonight. It originally was going to be Elias Psaros. However, he couldn't make it, so Robert is joining the McLaren WOR car tonight. And that should be the full lineup for this night. We also originally had Silly Sly Guy for the OP team. He's out, unfortunately, for this evening, and we have, therefore, Valentino Labella joining. Well, let's hope he's joining. We're still 5 drivers short. We're still waiting for several then. We have a problem for the GS team. I can just see that in the chat with Marcel. There's been an incident. Marcel can't make it, so that means we'll be 19 drivers. We're 15 in at the moment. Still waiting for them, so GS team down 1 driver, which is unfortunate. As you can see in the standings, they're not that far off the lead. And they are still pretty much in the fight for that title. 82 points, and that means the only driver for tonight will be, if I remember that correctly, Ivan Leonov. He's in already, so Yeah, let's see if he can score some good points tonight. He's been pretty decent over the past few races, so it should be a good race, hopefully, for him. The only Aston Martin then out on track tonight. Going to be interesting. ABS on their way to avenging themselves, as I said before. 40 points at the moment above Spark, ET and ERT. Interesting news about ETE as well is that they weren't present last week, and they received quite a bit of penalty points for that, so they've got something to make up. They're still not last in the standings though. ERT is still behind them on 9 points. They're not having a brilliant season yet. Those teams have something to prove tonight. Let's see if they're up to speed tonight in on this track. We're about to start. We're still missing 4 drivers. ABS is still missing. Let's see if there's a reason for that. Very strange that the entire team is not present. Let's hope they'll be joining during the qualifying. As usual, short qualifying, 18 minutes to be the fastest, and as usual, no constructor standings, just the team standings, no individual driver standings either. Of course, it's always nice to win the race for your team, but it's the total point count that is the most important here, and of course, the point system is different as opposed to the regular point system. The winner, for example, gets 35 points, and it goes all the way down to 15th place, where you get 1 point. So there's plenty to gain. At the moment, there's 15 drivers in, so technically everybody present right now can go home with a point as long as they finish the race. Of course, you will not get points if the game classifies you as DNF, did not finish, and that means, despite you finishing in some position on the list, you will not score those points, which is completely logical. We have been readying up. Maybe you've heard the timer counting down. I really, really hope that the missing 4 drivers will be joining soon. We'll be having a look at the list in a moment to see who is actually missing. And there we are. Let's turn on the map and the lap data. Let's see then. We have somebody missing from the FFC team. We have somebody missing from ETE as well. I believe ERT, yeah, they are complete. We also have our new driver from OP missing. And of course, both ABS drivers. As said before, Marcel Papst will not be joining us, as they are unfortunately unavailable at the moment due to personal circumstances. So best of wishes to them. Anyway, we are on track as we speak. Let's see if the audio is working. I think it is. We have, I believe, Beaver, the first driver to leave the garage. The Red Bull there. I know it's actually not the Red Bull. I believe it's one of the Aston Martins or one of the McLarens. Yes, it is. The only Aston Martin, of course, of Ivan Leonov. As I said, he's got some work to do now that he's the only driver for sure. As we see Victor Santana for FFC joining. That's good. That means driver number 16 is now present. The second Mercedes is in the game as we speak. The manager of ABS asking if the drivers are in. The answer is no, they're not, unfortunately. Thank you very much for the subscription, Shots Ahoy. That's greatly appreciated. Nice to see that. 14 viewers at the moment, so that's very, very nice. Beaver to win. Well, let's see how he will do. He's on his way at the moment. The only ETE driver on track right now. His teammate still missing as we speak. And in the chat, we're basically waiting on updates on where the missing drivers are right now. Really hope they'll be coming online soon. There's still 50 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Everybody is on their way for their first hot lap. Several drivers still waiting around in the pit lane. And Ivan Leonov, the first driver to cross the line, as Valentin Labella, the second OP driver, has now joined as well, which means we're only waiting for both ABS drivers. There's apparently a bit of a miscommunication. It's almost 9 o'clock, not 8 o'clock, so ABS, I think, is still on summertime. Ish. That wouldn't be good. There we go then. Ivan Leonov across the line and onwards to turn 1. DRS wide open and turning left and then right again. This is a very tricky part. It's very easy to go just over the line. As you can see, he just somewhat did that. The game, however, did not count that as going over the track limits. He was just barely on then, I think. It was a bit difficult to see from the distance of this camera. Of course, the first sector. Oh, being purple, 22.5. Quite a drifty car this man's got. You saw it out of turn 2 as well. The setup apparently being quite aggressive. Probably not much downforce, so they can gain the maximum amount of top speed here. On the back straight and as well, of course, on the main straight. Through turns 8 and 9. Braking hard there, back to 3rd or 4th gear, whichever you prefer. And then another straight without DRS, 49.9 for the middle sector for Ivan. And then going through turn 10. And then there's going to be another right-hander, my personal favorite corner of this track, and maybe even of the entire game. It's so satisfying when you get this one right. And right, he does get it, that's for sure. There's some traffic on the way as he goes through turn 12 onwards to 13. As one of the Alfa Romeos ahead, one of the ERT cars is about to start their hot lap as well. Right then through turn 15 and onto the main straight, and there is the first ABS driver, thankfully on time. Noé Grosjean is in as we speak, and across the line Ivan Leonov goes with a 29.4. Now that is one grand opener. If I have to say so myself. The next one to cross the line, and Janesh Dovjan in the WR McLaren as he comes across the line. Let's see where he will be across the line. A 29.0, already quite a big improvement from the first time set so far, and the benchmark is now even higher than it was before. Next one to cross the line is Samuel Olea for the Spark team, 30.3. That is quite a lot slower than Ivan is. As we see Luke, oh dear, I'm afraid he has crashed out. That is pretty bad news. Let's see if we can get a view from one of the Haas cars. Unfortunately, it's already been removed. Luke Mills is out. It's not that easy to crash on this track since the walls are very far away. But I believe Luke Mills has managed to get his car in the wall. That is his qualifying over already. The host of tonight's lobby is out of qualifying. That means at least one of the cars for the GRS team has to start from the back. So it's all on Crythelum then to get a good lap in. They're currently on their way to the start-finish lines. You can see it over there as Kriesix is about to set a lap time, as Beaver has now gone fastest overall, 28.5, quite a lot faster. Kriesix very close behind with a 28.558. There's quite a big difference in lap times, if I'm honest. The Spark team and they 30 and 31s, as Beaver and Kriesix are already in the 28s. So the difference in pace is noticeable, to say the least. Let's see if anybody else is currently on their way. Purple sector there for Robert Dinilescu, as we have a yellow flag for a slow Alpine. I believe that is the Alpine of Samuel heading back to the pit lane. Yes, he is. Here, Robert on his way. Santiago straight ahead, as well as Beaver. I believe Beaver is the car coming into the pit lane right now. They're actually both coming in. So Santiago back in the pit lane, not satisfied with his lap as Robert is coming across the final corner over the line. Let's see where the WR car is going to be. Another 28. Yes, it is a 28.7, a third fastest ahead of his teammate for the time being. Jorge Suarez across the line and a 28.9, fourth fastest now, and splits both WR cars. Let's see, anybody else on the way? Yes, under the new name then, Valentino Labella. The Italian man here in front. Across the line and fastest overall. Now that is a way to make your entrance. A 28.311. Well done to you, my man. A good way to make your name known on this grid. As Ivan Santamaria next across the line, second fastest. Look at that, the times are improving more and more. And the pressure definitely right now on Team Spark to improve as they are very far behind. Look at Antequera's time, it's more than 3 seconds slower than the provisional pole position at the moment. And that is a very big difference. Let's see how Quartilum is doing at the moment. The only remaining GRS car on track right now. They're on the back straight at the moment. Got something to prove for themselves now that their teammate is out of this qualifying. So then, through turns 8 and 9, a nice and easy braking within the white lines. The banker lap, of course, on the first outing is the most important. Some yellow flags around for slow-going cars. There's an Alpha Tauri ahead. I believe that's not Candy King. No, it's in fact Valentino, who just set the provisional pole time. One of the Mercedes is slowing down over there. That is Jorge Suarez. As the other FFC member is still missing. We saw them joining a bit earlier. Unfortunately left again. There might be some internet issues then. Both ABS cars are out on track at the moment. Both Ferraris, Noé Grosjean and Tony Richer, on their way at the moment. Let's see what they can do on their home track for their team. Quartilum is now on the main straight. DRS open across the line. Where will they be? P8 29.3. Which earlier was considered to be reasonably fast. Right now it's more than a second slower than provisional pole. Let's see how the ABS cars are doing right now. They're still on their way, I believe. Yes, this man's on their way for a hot lap. It's Candy King. One of the Aston Martins there. Ivan Leonov, of course, going very, very wide. Candy King also pretty much on the limits already in terms of the white lines on track. His teammate fastest overall, so he's got something to prove, as Valentino was a reserve driver for tonight. What can Candy King do? Got a bit of a slipstream from the Ferrari, perhaps. Across the line, fifth fastest, not too bad. About 4/10 of a second away from Valentino. So P1 and P5 for Team OP for now. Switching on to Noé Grosjean. Both Noé and Tony have got brilliant qualifying pace. Like I said before this event started, ABS has been having some terrible luck recently. The race results haven't really come out as opposed to their qualifying results because they're brilliantly fast in qualifying. The race results just haven't been there yet. And we're just waiting to see what they can do. Nathan Samba for ERT is in right now as well. So that means the grid is now complete. Victor Santana is in. As you can see, the second FFC car, the Mercedes, in the pit lane at the moment. Nathan Samba, in fact, is on his way for a hot lap. Noé Grosjean right here. Tony Richer is a little bit further back. I believe Nathan is encountering quite a bit of traffic. His teammate is in that list in the back straight as well. Maybe a bit of a tow. Wouldn't help, I guess. Or I should say that would help. There we go. See, some nice teamwork there for the Alfa Romeos of ERT. Some extra speed for Nathan in his first outing here in France. Final corner for Noé Grosjean. Let's see if ABS once again can live up to their good qualifying reputation. There we go, P6 for the time being, a 28.744. Let's see if Tony can go faster than that one. Well, the Alpines ahead, I believe, is about to cross the line. Let's see if Spark can improve. They can to a 28.9, still not nearly good enough. And look at that, Tony Richer, second fastest now. But they're still 12 milliseconds short from provisional pole. It's a tiny, tiny margin, but it's not enough to claim first place. It is, however, good enough for the front row. Nathan Samba, let's see where he's been placed. 11th fastest at the moment, with a 29.1, faster than George Chalkley, who is currently sitting in 14th place with a 29.6. And Takira, where is he? On his way for a hot lap at the moment, I believe, or not. From my point of view, the battery looks a little bit empty. The DRS is, however, wide open. And the timer is running, and they're going at full speed. Both cars, actually, are going at full speed right now. Wonder if there's any improvement coming, then we'll know enough. 32 milliseconds quicker right now, despite not having any ERS. It's better than nothing, I guess, but it's marginal considering it's a 30.437 for him right now, which is very far off the pace. Spark on the back foot at the moment. Santiago Robles right now going onto the back straight. One of two drivers not to have yet set a lap time. With about half the time of this session gone. I can't see the timer at the moment. It's in fact much more time gone. 13 minutes gone already, 5 to go. That means they're now in a hurry. Let's see if Red Bull is going to do some teamwork as well, as Beaver right now has already set a hot lap, giving a bit of a tow there to Santiago. Brilliant work. Purple middle sector for Santiago there. Beaver at the moment 4th fastest. He's gaining quite a lot of time here. That's nicely done from the ETE team. And they need that. They need a good result to stay away from last place. They only got ERT behind them right now. And right now, ERT is 11th and 12th fastest. George has improved to a 29.1. As Ivan Santamaria is at the moment 3rd fastest. Has invalidated lap time there. Let's see though what Santiago can do. A bit wide, just barely within the track limits. I'd personally say they were outside the track limits, but the game found it to be okay. 29.0, only 11th fastest. Looks like, yeah, Jorge Suarez is not on their way for a hot lap. Victor is on the mediums, interestingly, and also invalidated his lap. 4 minutes remaining. Hurry back to the pit lane and try again, I suppose. Cutting the track to gain some time to get back to the pit lane, I believe, is not allowed. So you can't really do that. So right now the track is going to calm down, and then we'll have the massively famous queue at the end of the session, where everybody is going to be flooding out of the pit lane. And then hopefully create a good space for themselves. There's only 3 cars out on track right now, both Mercedes cars and also Santiago on the Red Bull. Victor Santana, no lap time, but has to go for it now. Battery online, and you can see it already happening. Cars starting to flood out of the pit lane. Some traffic then for Victor Santana. Hopefully they will not be in the way, as everybody else is preparing for their final hot lap. This is Victor's final chance to set a lap time on the medium tires, interestingly. I wonder why! Oh my goodness, it's the AlphaTauri! He didn't see it! He didn't see it! Valentino is going to be in trouble for very much holding up Victor Santana. That nearly went horribly wrong, as Victor Santana had massive speed and Valentino did not see him coming at all. Probably didn't have his minimap online then. Otherwise you could have seen him coming. But Victor will not be a happy man right now. Is he still going for it? That's the question. Nope, he's recharging the battery once again. Thankfully for him, those medium tires will last a bit longer. But I'm afraid his lap time is not going to be brilliant. His teammate currently 6th fastest. 2 minutes remaining. If you're not out of the pit lane right now, you're too late. There's 1 car still in there. And that is the broken car of Luke Mills, of course. He's gonna have to try again then. Victor, there's still time to get to the finish line, so no problems. But his tires are getting more and more worn, of course. Here he is then, the man to beat. Valentino Labella. Nobody has been able to beat his time yet. Tony Richet has gone very close. Ivan Santamaria as well. Beaver's not too far away either. We have some Beaver fans in the chat, I saw. Hoping for him to win this race. He's got one more chance to get his car further up front on the grid. No penalties handed out yet. That means we'll be having no restart at the moment. Everything is perfectly fine right now. And here we go. Final attempts for these drivers. Let's see then. Beaver is the first one who will set a proper lap time. Victor Santana, of course, on the mediums on his way as well. And now you have to be on edge. You have to be on the limit pretty much. As long as you don't go over them, you should be perfectly fine. 1/10 quicker at the moment for Beaver. Well on his way to provisional pole position. 1/10 in the first sector alone is pretty dang good. 44 milliseconds slower if Valentino is. And that means right now Beaver is doing a little bit better than Valentino is. So then, Beaver on his way. Beaver will be going into hibernation soon. I hope not, because the season will go on through the winter. That would be terrible news for the team. 3.5 tenths. This man might be well on his way to a high 1 minute 27 if he keeps this pace up. The third sector is pretty long. Through turn 11, a nice corner there, beautifully managed there, on the limits pretty much. Then through turn 12, a few more corners to negotiate, but Beaver is doing a fantastic job to go faster. How is Valentino though? We can't see their lap time at the moment, or at least how much quicker they are. Nathan and Victor are now finished. Victor has improved, but it's not nearly enough to get anywhere near the rest of the field. 1.4 seconds slower than the car ahead. Let's see then, Beaver across the line. It's a 28.40. Hasn't improved. Well, he has improved, but not by position, only in terms of time. Can Valentino go quicker over the line? He can't either. So is anybody else going to challenge it? Tony Richer is on a big improvement through the first sector, but it seems that many drivers are losing it in the third sector. So middle sector then for Tony, only 7/100ths of a second quicker. It's still enough, but the third sector needs to be absolute magic. Anybody else on the way? Ivan Santamaria then. We can't see how much quicker he's going to be, but Tony Richer might spoil Valentino's debut party for pole position. Is anybody else on a provisional pole position run? I don't think anybody else is, unless somebody's going for some brilliant magic. But let's follow this man around as he comes across the final corner onto the main straight, on the limit pretty much. DRS open, it's all they can do right now to manage it. And they go across the line. Is it enough? It is enough! Tony Richer on pole position. Where does his teammate go? It's Noé Grosjean up to third. No, correct me, that's actually going down to fourth as Ivan Santamaria beats him to the line to go third fastest overall. But once again, a strong qualifying result for ABS. Let's see if they can finally convert it to a strong race result as well here on their home track. Confirmation then here for Tony Richer on pole position. Valentino Labella in second place, just over a 10th behind. Couldn't improve on his final run. Ivan Santamaria in third. Noé Grosjean P4. Beaver is starting from 5th. Kriesix starting in P6, some good results for NLR as well as they chase the lead of the championship. OP Candy King there in 7th, Jorge Suarez in P8, Robert Dunalescu for his outing for WR in 9th, Janesh Deljean in P10. WR somewhat on the back foot here on leading the championship, only 9th and 10th fastest. The rest of the field looking like this. Of course, Luke Mills not being able to settle lap time. So let's see where he can go. His teammate Carthilum in 15th place. Not looking that great for them, if I'm honest. DRS, they're fighting for the championship right now. They're very much on the back foot. This could be a very good day for both ABS and NLR, especially for NLR. If they can grab loads of points, they might be overtaking WR in the championship standings. But we'll see. We'll see. There's still, of course, coming up 27 laps. And do let me know in the chat your predictions for the race winner. We see some people going for Beaver before he goes into his so-called hibernation mode. We see Chrysin Zero going for Kriesix's victory. Or Krysix or Kriesix. Whichever name it is. Please do let me know how to pronounce it correctly. Reminder for myself and for you guys, no formation lap, so the action will be instant. And we'll then know what tires they will be using. I personally think either mediums or hard tires, but there has been some crazy strategies in the past as well, especially considering most races have had a safety car throwing all their strategies down the drain. Especially if it's an early safety car and you start on the hards, that might completely screw you. And I do know that despite many straights on this track, it's also quite heavy on the tires. At least from my experience from about 2 games ago, 21, I believe. It was quite heavy on the tires. Saw some punctures on a 50% race. How many were in before qualifying started? 15 drivers were in. We were missing one OP guy, both ABS guys, and one FFC guy. Now we're 19, and that is the maximum drive we'll be having. And here we go then. Front row for Valentino and Tony, who will be leading out of turn 1. Let's see as the lights go off right now. Tony Richet from pole position, Valentino from second, Ivan from third place, already trying to fight Noé Grosjean to retain that third position as they go through turn 1. Noé Grosjean trying to go around the outside, unsuccessful, under threat from Beaver right now, who has to go a little bit wide, but not as wide though as Robert Delulescu as he fights not only his teammate but Jorge Suarez as well. It looks like Kriesix is on the attack already, overtaking Beaver for 5th position. 1 position done, 4 to go for the lead of the race for him. So far that prediction not too bad coming out of the gate. Then we see some fighting going on in the midfield between Robert and Jorge Suarez. But so far it looks like everybody's gone out unscathed. And right as I say that, we have an accident with Jorge Suarez. He was fighting for points and is now quite a bit further behind the rest of the field than we would have liked. That is a big problem. Bad news then, as Santiago Robles in a ERT sandwich in between both Alfa Romeos. He'd like to overtake them as Ivan Santamaria has a little bit of a look, but it's Valentino Labella who goes fastest there through the corner in turn 10 and retakes the lead, actually takes the lead of the race after being robbed from provisional pole, having that position for quite some time. Ivan Santamaria patiently waiting in third place. He's got Noé Grosjean behind. Kriesix is moving up the order. Let's see how they are doing in terms of tires. Most of the drives have started on the hards. Janesh Dovjan in the top 10, the only on the mediums. We have 3 or 4 drivers outside of the top 10 also starting on the mediums. Of course, they will have to make the most of their first stint. Jorge Suarez getting a 5-second penalty, speeding in the pit lane. Not a brilliant start then, as Valentino Labelli obviously gets the fastest lap of the race. So, 1 lap gone. I would say they come out all unscathed. Unfortunately, that is not the case, as we have Jorge already in the pit lane going probably for a fresh front wing. Let's have a little bit of a look. They're on their way already. I believe that has been a front wing change for the Mercedes, as Valentino shows some very strong race pace. Tony is not able to keep up. The gap is slowly growing bigger, and his teammate behind, Noé Grosjean, is getting closer. It's also NLR. Both cars now in 4th and 5th place. The question is, will they swap positions, as potentially Kriesix might be faster? Same goes for ABS. If Noé is fastest, you should probably swap positions. This is not for individual glory. This is for team glory. And if your teammate is faster, then you should switch places as soon as possible. I'm positive most of these drivers are in a Discord call or wherever together to discuss what is going on. We've got some fights going on in the midfield between GRS and ERT. GRS, of course, fighting for P1 in the standings right now, only 12th and 14th, which is still good enough for points, but not that much, of course. Meaning that they'll have a big fight on their hands. Luke Mills already up to 12th, started last due to crashing out in qualifying. So a strong performance from him so far. His teammate Korthelum in 14th place, made up 1 position, I believe, from the top of my head as well. Both on the mediums too, so they need to make the most during this stint. Janesh Dovjan also on the mediums, overtaking Kriesix for 5th position. Kriesix has lost a little bit of pace since he was pretty close to his teammate half a lap ago. He's now lost quite a bit of time, and Janesh has now forced his McLaren in between both NLR cars, and he has to, because NLR right now is their main rival in the championship. Lap 3, that means DRS is now online. Let's see who can make the most out of that. Valentino is quite safe from DRS. Noé Grosjean is getting closer. Of course, Tony is not going to defend that position. It's now Noé Grosjean's turn to chase down Valentino Labella from the OP team. Let's see if he's successful in doing that. They'll have to tow one another along. There's still some threats from behind too. But right now, ABS is doing quite fine. In 2nd and 3rd, that's a load of points, and they need that to get a chance of fighting for the championship. Look at Janesh, he's going wild, he's going to overtake another car, or is he? He had a little bit of a look, he had about half a go on Ivan Santamaria, but the fight for 4th place is now on. And look how close it is. The medium tyres, of course, working much better at this stage of the race. We're only about 4 laps in right now. 3 full laps completed as we head into that 4th lap. And Janesh is going for the overtake. Is Ivan going to defend it? Yes, he is. Into turn 1. No, he slots in behind. And lets him go for the time being, knowing that those mediums will start to wear off sooner or later. And they'll be on the mediums in the second stint anyway. So right now, Janesh has to hurry up as Noe is actually closing that gap. And as I say that, he nearly slides out of the track there. That was very, very close. The car got very nervous there and immediately loses those 3/10 he's made up during the previous lap. And that's a shame, because he was doing a nice job. He has to do it all over again, and his teammate is now closing in. Is he going to go for the overtake, though? Yes, Tony Richer is going to go for it. No time lost there, of course. He had to, but I guess he's now much closer to Valentino. He's within a second now. ABS working together beautifully, not only to chase down Valentino, but also to keep behind Janesh Dovjan, who's on a charge already up to 4th place. Started in 9th, now up to 4th. His teammate Robert at the moment in P10. He's got Santiago behind and Ivan Leonov ahead. Ivan having a good race start as well. Let's see in fact how the position changes are looking at the moment. Janesh, as you can see, has actually started 10th. It was Robert who started 9th. Ivan made up 2 positions. Luke at the moment about to take Santiago for 11th. Has made up 7 positions since the race start. Tony Richer now within DRS range, which means Valentino is no longer safe. And ABS is giving chase as Janesh is trying to keep on pace, on par I should say, with both Ferraris ahead. NLR in 5th and 6th at the moment. Ivan ahead of Krizix. Candy King hanging around in 7th place. He's got Beaver behind. Beaver has lost quite a few positions since the race started. Started in 5th, now in P8. Not going as well as he would have liked, but he's pretty much on the rear of Candy King's AlphaTauri there. The OP car. Not literally OP. That would have been something. Here we go. It's however not Beaver that got the good exit. It was Ivan Leonov who got the good exit. Is he going to go for it around the outside or the inside in turn 8? No, he had a bit of a look on both sides, but it would have been a bit too risky to be fair. Robert Delanescu doing a nice job of hanging on, but it looks like there we go. Candy King got a bad exit out of turn 9. And of course Beaver took the opportunity straight away. Now back up into 7th place. Candy King falls behind as Ivan Leonov tries to go for it as well in turn 11. Can he make it stick though? He's gonna go try around the outside. No, he decides to back off, which is probably a wise decision as the curbs here can be quite nasty. And you don't want to lose more positions than it's worth fighting for. But Ivan is pretty much on it and pushing Candy King to the limit as they come out of the final corner to start lap 6 out of 27. Look at this. In the meanwhile, at the front, Valentino under pressure from not 1 but 2 cars from the ABS team. Their teamwork is paying off nicely. They keep behind Janesh Dovjan, and they are now chasing down Valentino Labella. Valentino is alone as his teammate is in 9th place at the moment. Ivan has gone past right now. But let's see, can Tony Richer go for the move of the lead of this race? Is he fast enough on the back straight? He is gaining, but the gap is still quite large. Is it going to be enough? He's closing, he's closing, he's closing. Is he going to go for it? No, he's sticking behind. Now you can wonder how much battery he's got left. We've decided not to show ERS. And wisely so, to make sure no other team can get a benefit from that one. Which makes perfect sense, of course. Janesh has closed the gap as well, so that means it's now 4 cars closely fighting for the lead, but don't count out NLR yet. They've had some strong results in the past 2 races. Oh, dearie me, it looks like Noré Grosjean's had a problem there. We saw him in ghosting and immediately goes into unghosting mode, and that nearly causes Krizix to crash into the rear of the Ferrari. Noré Grosjean, what has happened? Is it the ABS curse striking once again? And now Tony Richer is isolated. He has to do it all by himself now. Noé has fallen back. He's not too far back yet though. There's still plenty of opportunities to get back up front. But he has to push now for what he's worth. Janesh now up to 3rd place. Ivan up to 4th. And Noe having to fight now for those podium positions. That's a good question. Janesh to win. He's on the mediums right now though. So that means he'll be slower in the second stint and potentially suffer during that period. Right now he's quite fast, but it looks like Ivan has got a better exit. Is he going to go for it? They're quite as quick right now. Ivan is a little bit quicker. He's going to go on the inside in turn 8. Can he make it stick though? So he now has to go around the outside. No, but does Janesh get a bad exit? Not yet. The medium tires are still quite strong. 7 laps in as Ivan Leonov fight with Beaver for 7th position. Ivan is on a charge. He's now made up 3 positions. If he can overtake Beaver, that will be 4. Jorge Suarez is going really slow. He's already more than a minute behind the Spark team, who in their turn are pretty much driving their own race for no points whatsoever. Spark is not having a good night in terms of race pace. They're far behind the rest of the field already. Whoa! Ivan, be careful there, my man! Into the final corner. He locks up and nearly loses control of the car. However, Candy King couldn't make the most of that opportunity. We also saw Luke Mills having a bit of a look at Robert Dinalescu for 10th position. It looks like that will have to wait a little bit longer. We're keeping an eye on all the fights happening right now. It's very, very close between almost everyone in the field. As Antequera overtakes Samuel Alea for 17th place, but they're 6.4 seconds behind the next car. There we go. This is the attack. This is the attack. Tony Richet for the lead of the race, and up he goes, retaking the lead that he had from pole position. Valentino being demoted to 2nd, and Janesh smelling the opportunity to take the position from Valentino as well. He has to wait a little bit though. We have a yellow flag. It's Robert Dinalescu. He spun out. And that is bad news for WOR. As they only have 1 driver in the points right now. And he's far behind. You can see both Spark cars approaching from behind. It's very, very close in the midfield. And in the front as well. So close that mistakes are easily made. We've seen it happen with Noé Grosjean. Now we've seen it happening with Robert as well. And that is bad news for them. Lap 9 starting at any moment now. And Janesh knows what he has to do. More points are needed now that his teammate is out of the points scoring positions. They score, of course, there's still every opportunity for a safety car to come in at any given moment. Given how close the racing is right now. We've got two groups forming. 1st to 8th position are a group, and then 9th all the way down through 13th position are also a group. Victor and George are fighting for 14th and 15th together. Then there's Robert alone and the Spark duo far behind, and Jorge Suarez in last place. Good exit there from Ivan Santamaria. So he goes side by side. Where is he going to go? Is he going to try it around the outside in turn 8? And Janesh has got no choice but to slot in behind. Back down to 4th position now. What game is he going to play? The patience game or the aggressive game? Since he started on the mediums, you would say the aggressive game. So far, he's been quite successful. But he already is forced to give up 1 position as the medium tires are now past their prime pretty much. Look at that! Ivan's got a pretty bad corner running there. And Janesh tries to go around the outside. Can he switch to the inside though? No, he can't yet. But it looks like he's pretty much hounding Ivan for that 3rd position. As Valentino, it seems, is throwing himself a little bit as well. As Tony is starting to run away a tiny bit. And I mean a tiny bit. It's only half a second pretty much. Whoa! Janesh is not going aggressive. He's going berserk pretty much. He wants those positions badly. He wants the 3rd place back ASAP. Is he going to go for it in turn 1? That would be brave. Too brave, to be honest, and wisely stays behind. Watch the Aston, yep. Keeping an eye on as many people as possible, but there's so many fights. We will be missing 1 or 2 fights during this race. Not much we can do about that, unfortunately. We also see Beaver getting closer and closer to Kreesix. Both drivers were tipped in the chat for a victory. Seems like they're struggling at the moment. And fighting one another right now. There we have Luke Mills going for an overtake. Past Candy King, he goes up into 9th. From 19th to 9th place right now. But he got a... did he get a bad exit? No, not really actually. He stays well ahead of Candy King. But now he's got a job to do. He's outside of DRS range for the car ahead of Beaver. Can he close that gap though? Only 1.1 seconds is not much. But he has to hurry, otherwise they'll just go away. Unless they start fighting, of course, in the front of the field. Noé Grosjean. He's got Ivan Leonov behind. The only car from the GS team on track tonight. He's got Janesh ahead. And the gaps are incredibly small. They're going for an attack here. It's pretty hard to overtake here on the main straight, especially into turn 1, since that's a very fast corner, as you can see. We'll have to be much quicker than the car ahead to make the move stick around that part. And Luke Mills is not able to close the gap. In fact, it's slowly getting bigger through the straights. He has to make it up through the corners, and fast. Good news for him, though. He's towing along his teammate, Carthelum. And Candy King is in between both of them. Carthelum needs to get Candy King out of the way. So they can work together. Look at that. Ivan Leonov, is he going to go for it? Yes, he's going to go for it. Side by side into turn 8. Whoa! Nearly taking out several other cars in the process. That was very, very late braking. Janes Devjon thankfully was aware of the Ivan Leonov there. Just going for it into turn 8. And now they're all incredibly close together. Kreesix is not backing off just yet. Noé Grosjean has lost another position now to the Haas as well. And Chaos is starting to ensue slowly but surely. Now it's 3 cars, 5 cars fighting for several positions everywhere on the track right now. Carthelum overtaking Candy King. It's Ivan Leonov trying to stay ahead of Noé Grosjean, but it is Kreesix who's made the most of the situation and just took both of them. Now up into 5th place. Well done. That's how you do it. Well, we see somebody going in a very strange position. It's Candy King who spun out, unfortunately. He was fighting with both Williams cars for the top 10. Something definitely happened. I think he lost control. We saw it happening in the background. And that is bad news for the OP team as well. Now they got 1 car in the lead. Valentino has retaken the lead, in fact. There's so much happening. Unfortunately, we didn't see that one. But it's... no, look at that. Ivan Santamaria on the attack. It's 3 wide. 2 cars overtaking Valentino Labella all of a sudden. And Tony Richet comes out best, or is he? Yes, he is. But Ivan is going with him. It's Valentino momentarily having the lead. And now he's all losing the pace again. Janesh Dovjan on those medium tires sticking behind, but it's Ivan going on the inside in turn 10. Can he make it stick? Can Tony Richet stay on the outside? Turn 11, where is he going to go? 4 cars now for P1. Where is it going to go wrong, you might wonder here. And look at that. Valentino got pushed onto the curbs, losing a lot of speed and losing many, many positions more now. More than he bargained for. Kreesix now going for it as well. NLR now 1st and 4th. Kreesix is the man who makes the most of difficult situations. Look at that. If Valentino was trying to go for it, Kreesix was like, no thank you. You stay behind me. I've overtaken you, now stay there. Thank you very much and goodbye. That was basically what he said there. Well, this is beautiful. The fight for the lead and everywhere until P8 or something like that is incredibly close. Luke Mills is connected into DRS range as well now, taking his teammate and Nathan with him. Nathan Samba for ERT not doing too bad either. Some incredible moves here. It's a miracle that no car has been binned into the wall. He's going for the next move. Is it Valentino? He was leading the race a lap ago. Can you imagine that? He was in P1 and lost 5 positions due to the hard fighting. The hard but fair fighting, I should say. With so many cars, you have to be really careful. And just take action whenever needed. And this man, Kreisix, is really good at that. Do I see rain? Yes, I see rain! My dear viewers, we are getting another thing to make this race more interesting, and that is the coming of the rain. Now the question is, how much rain is it going to be? How long will it last, and which tires will be used? This might explain why so many drivers started on the mediums. However, it means that Janesh will have to pray that he can go as long as possible before his tires go really bad. And now they have to be extra careful. Of course, DRS is still online, meaning that the track is still fine for the time being. But look at this, the speed carried into turns 3 and 4. And Janesh now sees some opportunities. Apparently his wet driving skills are quite nice. Going almost too wide. Ivan going extremely defensive. Weaving there, going right, then going left. Or vice versa, I should say. As his teammate Kreisix is having a look at Janesh. Janesh going a bit wide there on the attack, in fact, for Tony Richet's position. But that causes him to have a terrible exit. Now Kreisix is pretty much pushing his car through turn 9. But he can't have a go on him yet. Now I wonder, those cars who have pitted, have they gone for the inters? Yes, they have. They were like, we're so far behind. Oh no! There goes Kreisix! Spun out! Now, I kind of missed what exactly happened there. What was there, contact or not? But this is terrible, terrible news. He was fighting for the lead. And he's got spun out. One NLR car down the field. Cars are getting victimized left, right and center. It's actually Janesh going for a gamble as well. And he's the only one from the top pack of the field. The question is, which tire is he going to go for? DRS is still online. That means the dry tires are technically still faster. Yes, Janesh is taking the big, big gamble. If this pays out wrongly, WOR will be in serious, serious trouble. Just having a little bit of a look between the times of Robert and Samuel. As I can see, Robert is gaining on the Spark car. Santiago's actually going for the mediums, interestingly. Seems everybody's in agreement on which tire is the fastest right now. And I think there has been contact between Valentino and Kreisix, as Valentino has lost quite a lot of time. He's being overtaken by Ivan Leonov, who now goes up into 3rd place. Interesting how Santiago has gone for the mediums, as everybody else who has pitted has gone for the inters. But the track, I'm afraid, is not nearly wet enough for those inters. It's still quite dry, at least from this point of view. As you can see, no puddles, no wet-ish tracks, but the grip is starting to get worse. As you can see through turn 11, it's already getting a bit of a struggle for these cars. As Jorge Suarez gets another 5-second time penalty. Try to get rid of the other. It's not really working out for the man from FFC tonight. Tony and Ivan decided to stay out. Ivan Leonov is also staying out. It's Luke Mills, in fact, who's going in. And Nathan is following suit. Are they going for the gamble then? And going for those inters as well? One of them on the hards, one of them on mediums. Interesting. Very, very interesting. They're going for inters for Nathan. And inters for Luke as well. Everybody is wondering which lap is the good one to go and pit. Janesh, of course, overtaking both of them. He was already ahead. But he's not as much ahead anymore as he was. So it looks like the dry tires are still faster right now. I think within a lap or two, the inters will be faster. I think right now Tony and Ivan somewhat have to work together to make sure they stay ahead of the inter drivers. Especially Janesh. If those tires come to life now, then the WR driver will still be in for the lead of the race. Just keep an eye on the delta between Janesh and Victor. It's actually increasing as we speak. DRS is still online. I'm afraid Janesh has made a bit of a mistake, as has everybody else on the Inters. Yep, definitely too early to go to the intermediate tires. Is Santiago gaining on Samuel? I think he is, yep. And there we go, Tony's going in. Whoa! Very late on the brakes, so is Ivan, nearly coming to a complete standstill. Noé Grosjean is pitting as well. There's going to be a double stack for the ABS team, interestingly. Not sure if that was their plan. Goes for the Inters. The switch is to the Inters are coming out more and more. Ivan is decides to keep on going. Valentino, Beaver, Cortinum as well. We have a spin. It's Antequera, I believe. Who spun out into turn 8 on the Inters. Very strange. DRS, I believe, is still enabled. I haven't seen a message that it is disabled right now. Janesh is still behind Tony, but not by much actually, which means that the Inters are starting to come to life. But it's still anybody's guess. Ivan is the sole leader of the race at the moment, which means we'll be switching to this group, which are much closer together. All now on the Inters. Nathan Samba, as you see, has gained on Ivan, who went in later for Inters. So I think the time to switch might have come now. Janesh is losing time right now to Tony. 3 seconds of a gap right now. Tony might be the race leader still after the pit stops have happened. And Janesh might potentially go for a second place. But it depends on how things will work out now. What is Ivan Santamaria going to do? I think he's going in. Yes, he is. And he's, well, Valentino decided to continue. Interesting. And Antequera has in fact gone for the soft tires. Had it actually stopped raining? No, it hasn't stopped raining. That would have been crazy if it already had stopped raining. For a moment I thought it had. Let's see now. I think Tony is going to come out in the lead. Where is Ivan going to be? Is he going to be ahead of Janesh still? I think he is. Yes, he is. Yep. And Ivan has gone ahead of Janesh. Looks like Janesh is struggling on those Inters. And he's gone side by side there with Beaver, who's just come out of the pit lane. And Beaver has to slot in behind. And Nathan is approaching on warmer to the intermediates right there. He's got more grip at the moment. And that means Beaver loses another position. Looks like right now the time to go through those Inters has come. Though Antequera and Santiago definitely disagree, as does Valentino. He's still going. 17.6 seconds now ahead of Tony Richet. Keep an eye in between those times. Nathan is going for 5th place. Janesh is getting overtaken by Beaver as well. Beaver's tires are up to temperature right now, and he's already faster than Nathan. Nathan is up to 5th. He's having a very strong race as well right now. Made up a lot of positions since the race start. Side by side through turn 10 on the Inters. Quite brave. That Beaver now up to 5th. 16.9 in between Valentino and Tony. Definitely the Inters are faster now. Especially compared to these very old hard tires. And I'm afraid Valentino will not be able to keep the lead. And I think he'll be losing more than he would have liked. We're well past the halfway point right now in the race. DRS is still online, which is interesting, which means Ivan is able to keep up with Tony. And these two are now fighting for the lead. Valentino comes out 5th. Or maybe even worse, he's got Nathan right behind him right now. Who's got those warmer tires once again. Is he going to be able to get past? Looks like Valentino is already up to speed quite quickly. Luke Mills, in fact, is trying to go past Nathan and successfully doing so. Nathan must have had a horrible exit. The other Williams there, Quintinum going for it as well. Round the outside of Janesh. Brilliant job there by Quintinum. No way. Grosjean going for the move as well. Janesh is absolutely nowhere in these conditions tonight, which is unfortunate. He was fighting potentially for the win on his medium race strategy. But he's nowhere on the inters. He's now down to 10th, and it's not looking good for WOR anymore. WOR on the back foot in 10th and 14th. That's good news for NLR. It's also good news for ABS, 2nd and 9th. NLR being 1st and 11th. Whoa, look at that! Tony Rocher, is he going to go for it in turn 11? He's trying to go for it. It's incredibly close still. But he has to back out. Whoa, nearly losing the car there. It's tight racing. This does allow Ivan to catch up a little bit, gaining a tiny bit of time there. Beaver is closing in. Ivan has got a penalty. Let's see, it's a 3-second penalty in fact. Oh, that is going to hurt his race. Beaver, as of yet, is on the podium, and Valentino is up in 4th right now. As Ivan will be finishing P5 if they finish as they are at the moment. And we have a safety car as Santiago has crashed out in turn 7. This is going to be interesting. We'll be backing up the entire field. And that means more cars are going to be fighting for the lead of the race. Ivan and Tony were having a good race right there. And look how wet the track has become. In fact, this game is showing it as so incredibly bright that it's almost looking like it's snowing right now. Look at how bright the rain is in this game. It's incredible. I think it's snowing in France. Everybody is allowed to overtake the safety car as long as the race leader isn't behind it. Which might potentially be good news for Jorge Suarez to connect to this group. And Tequera can switch back to the inters, as it's definitely not a good idea to be on the softs at the moment. This is going to be promising. We'll have at least 2 laps of the safety car. And then we'll have a explosive finale, I think. There's still every opportunity for everybody to reclaim what they've lost. And there's quite a few drivers who've lost many positions. Krizix has lost many positions. Noé Grosjean, we saw him having made a mistake somewhere, or maybe some contact. Robert Dinilescu, of course. Janesh Dejan has lost many positions. Valentino was once leading the race, down to 5th. Could be worse, though. Candy King has lost positions. Luke has lost positions as well since his pit stop, since he was on a brilliant run. I think there's been some contact as well. Looks like everybody's going in. I think the rain is so heavy, they're going for the full wets. Are they, though? Or are they just going to go for a fresh set of inters? They are going for a fresh set of inters. Difference, though, is marginal. And I don't think it's going to be enough, as Beaver retired for some reason in the pit lane. Why is that? Both ETE drivers have retired. And why has Beaver retired? The game has retired him. I've never seen that before. That is a shame. A big, big, big shame. Because Beaver was doing quite well. Potentially fighting for the lead, and now out. That is so unfortunate. Both ETE drivers out, 0 points. And potentially last place if Nathan and George keep it up like this. That is very, very unfortunate. The field is catching up to the safety car. Jorge Suarez has got a long way to go. And Tequera has come into the pit lane. I think he's finally given in to the fact that these soft tires are not working quite well. So what tires is he going to go for? He's going for the inters. Interestingly, Victor Santana and Luke Mills have gone for the full wet. They think the rain will increase and will become heavy enough for them to be fast enough on the final few laps of this race. The safety car will of course stay out for at least one more lap. If Jorge is not going to be any quicker, he'll be overtaken, and then he will not be able to re-overtake the safety cars. He has to hurry up. But I don't think he'll be able to catch up in time. So far, this race has been brilliantly fascinating. So many things happening everywhere on track. The fight for the lead has been fascinating. The fight for many positions in the field has been beautiful. We've seen people switching positions left, right and center. People losing a lot of positions. So there's some drivers here. We've got some work to do. At this rate, we'll have at most 5 laps of racing remaining, as we're now on lap 22. And I'm afraid that Antequera and Jorge Suarez are going to be too late. Samuel, I think, will be fine. Candy King as well. Roberts should be easily fine. Luke has caught up to the field as well now. I wonder if those wet tires work out nicely. Potentially you might see a very strong result for Victor and Luke. And Luke needs it for the team. His teammate Carthelem is in 6th place at the moment. GRS needs those points as the safety car is out. Let me quickly show the standings as they are right now. As you can see, GRS is in 2nd at the moment. And their drivers are now in 6th and 12th. And they have the best shot to overtake WOR, which are 7th and 13th. NLR is on a roll. They are 1st and 9th. So they've got a good shot at taking the lead. And FFC, there you are, in 4th place with 88 points as well. They are now 10th and 17th. It's not looking good for FFC. Yes, only one driver, Ivan, now 2nd place. That will be good news for them. They can potentially overtake FFC at least. OP not doing that bad either, in 3rd and 14th. And of course ABS, they need those points now, 4th and 8th. They had a strong qualifying. But once again, the race not really translating it into very strong results. Although 4th and 8th is much better than they have seen in a long time, to be honest. Safety car is staying out for another lap, which means we'll have 4 laps of racing remaining. And there you are, ERT will be overtaking ETE at this rate, unless they both go for a DNF as well, which would be a shame. Nathan Samba is doing brilliantly in 5th place. In fact, let's have a look at their position changes since the race start. Look at that, 9 places from start, as well as Carthelem from 14th and 15th. Ivan Leonov from 11th all the way up to 2nd. So there is plenty of things to be gained here. Answers will come though, most likely at the end of this lap. What will happen? 4 laps to go after this one. And Antequera and Jorge Suarez, I'm afraid, will most likely be too late. There's still 48 seconds for Antequera to go. It's full wet conditions according to the chat. Oh, yeah, it's very much a lot of spray. And speaking of those conditions, I don't know if you've seen the tires already, but that would mean that Victor, Luke and Jorge are going to have a good shot. Unfortunately, Jorge Suarez is very far behind. And he's still got a long way to go to catch up to the rest of the field. And I don't think the safety car is going to stay out for another lap. If he does, then they should be fine. If not, then I'm afraid it's a lost race for both of them. And they're the only 2 drivers not to score points right now, as we score points all the way down to P15. There's some bets going on in the chat. If Luke wins, I'll give you €5. Luke is in 12th. Safety car, as predicted, in this lap. And that means that Ivan will now lead the field. I am predicting chaos. I am predicting absolute carnage. I'm not encouraging it. I'm just predicting it. Who will come out on top? Can Ivan keep the lead? Ivan Leonov. There's both Ivans are the top two, but Ivan Leonov has got 3-second time penalty, which is bad since the field is so close together. But I think the field will spread out pretty quickly given the circumstances. And if Victor and Luke are careful, they might have a very good time. And Takira is nearly there, but I'm afraid Jorge will still be too late. Ivan is still waiting and still waiting. And Takira is pretty much caught up. Is Ivan going? Yes, Ivan is going and nearly losing the car as he goes almost off the track. He is going with a flyer and a banger into the last corner. There's no overtaking allowed yet, which means that has been the perfect moment to go for it. And the race is back underway as we come across the line for the final 4 laps of this race. So far, though, it's more like a long queue of cars waiting to go for a move. We see Janesh Dovjan under threat, I believe, from Noe Grosjean in behind there. Look at that, the Ferrari. It seems to me indeed like this might be full wet conditions or maybe even snow tires. And there goes Noe Grosjean, tapped from behind by, I believe that was Kriesix there. But of course, the circumstance being this tricky, that was obviously not on purpose. But look at this then. Valentino Labella suddenly back in 2nd place. Nathan going up in 3rd place. This is beautiful for ERT. They need the big haul of points. And now he's going to go challenge Valentino for 2nd. Ivan de Santa Maria is off in the distance. Tony Richet is going to go for a move as well, as the game is having trouble keeping up the frame rates. Criterium is getting tapped from behind by, I believe that is Ivan Leonov. He's losing so many positions all at once. He was 2nd. He's now down to 7th. The chaos that has been predicted has started right now. The full wets though. How are they holding up? Looks like, whoa! Victor Santana is going incredibly wide, trying to keep the car on track, taking way too much speed into the corner. But it looks like those full wets might play into his advantage as he's now side by side, nearly with Ivan Leonov, going for 8th positions. FFC need the points, and right now Victor is doing a good job of retaking as many points as he can in the final few hectic laps of this race. Tony Richet, in the meanwhile, challenging Nathan Samba for the lead of the race. Nathan Samba has already caught back up to Ivan Santamaria. Ivan Leonov has gone for the pit stop for some reason. Probably some damage to the front wing, or maybe he's had enough of this race. I'm not sure what happened there. Is he going to go for the full wets? If he does, it's way too late because he'll be far behind the rest of the field. But look at this! The circumstances are so tricky. Keeping the car on track on itself is a challenge on its own. It's absolutely horrible circumstances here. The rain is pouring heavily out of the air right now. It's an absolute monsoon as... No! There goes Janesh Dovjan! Round, we saw it in the background happening. And disaster is now complete for Team WOR. As his teammate... Is he still behind him? Yes, he is behind by quite a distance as well. But Janesh spun out. Might have been tapped from behind. But a lot of things happening right now. Kriesix up into 6th. Criterium up into P5. Valentino, where is he going to go? Nathan Samba challenging for the lead as well. Valentino is starting to fall behind again. He's now getting pressurized by Criterium there for 4th position as Tony Richet claims the lead. Or is he? It's 3 wide as they come out of turn 9. Or almost 3 wide from this point of view. And it's actually Nathan Samba claiming the lead. Who would have thought that this man would be the race leader when this race started a few laps, 25 laps ago? Nathan Samba leads. Ivan Santamaria down to 3rd. Under pressure from 2 cars from behind. It's Valentino versus Criterium for 4th position. That allows Kriesix to catch up as well. And are right now still looking quite good in terms of team points at the very least. Tony Richet is starting to lose connection to Nathan Samba. Oh no, Nathan has made a mistake! He's gone wide, and Tony retakes the lead once again. It is still everyone's game. Nathan has thrown it in the bin. He led the race. There were beautiful points. The unexpected winner could have happened, but it doesn't happen, unfortunately, unless, of course, in those final 2 laps, more chaos ensues. But Tony Richet and a healthy lead. ABS needs this. They need a victory to come back to the lead of the championship. The big points should be on the board. His teammate Noe Grosjean is in 13th place. Many drivers having penalties as well. Maybe the FIA is going to have a look into that because of the tricky circumstances. Valentino still challenging Ivan Santamaria now for 2nd place. He's found his pace again. Nathan is still not out yet. He still can go for the podium. The victory, though, looks like far away now as Tony Richet is gaining and gaining. He's now 2.3 3 seconds clear of the next car behind. Noé Grosjean now getting a 3-second time penalty as well. Everybody down from 8th place has got a penalty. We have a yellow flag. That's Ernest Dovjan again. Spun around, I'm afraid. I don't think he likes these circumstances, to say the very least. And I don't think the full wets are that much faster. We have another yellow flag. That's actually one of the full wet users. It's Victor Santana who spun out as well. Looks like Valentino's gonna go for it round the outside of Ivan Santamaria. Up into 2nd place he goes. And immediately Nathan Samba wants to go for it as well. Up into 3rd he goes. Ivan is still on the outside though. He has to be careful there. These curbs especially are tricky. Criterium is having a look for a GRS. All of these teams that are fighting right now are fighting for big points in the championship. They know WR is pretty much out of the running for the lead of the championship right now. NLR can make the most of this. They can take the lead in the championship. OP can take a big haul of points as well. But they are 3 seconds away as Tony Richet easily leads into the final lap of this race. 1 lap to go. 1 more lap of chaos. Whew, and a little bit of a breather. That would be appreciated. My goodness me. Final lap of the race then. Criterium is still on Ivan's gearbox pretty much. He's got a sandwich of Haas cars around them. It's Krizik behind, it's Ivan Santamaria in front. NLR, if they are careful, they can score some good points tonight. But as of course, Krizik once more. He's going on the inside of Criterium. Can Criterium defend? Yes, they can. Well done. Victor Santana lost it again. Those full wets really not working out. Only Luke Mills can keep his car on track on the full wet, but it looks like it's a struggle. Janesh Dovjan now losing position to Noé Grosjean. Noé Grosjean now up to 11th again, and Criterium is going to go for it side by side with Ivan Santamaria up to 4th. And Krizik, with his teammate fighting there. That shouldn't be happening. George Chalkley for ERT. ERT is going to score big tonight, if he is careful though. We have Kenning now going side by side, and Noé Grosjean now spun out into turn 8. Samuel and Takira getting past Spark, still scoring some points after all, thanks to the chaos happening. And we have our winner coming up very soon to the line. Nathan Samba, though, has got one more opportunity to take 2nd place. He'll be on the podium unless he makes the mistake on the same place once more. Let's hope it doesn't happen, though. Parthena will be missing out just barely. Ivan Santamaria with his teammate behind. Kenning trying to claim the position. But I think time is up to claim the places that they wanted to claim. Nathan has no more time to claim this place unless Valentino comes out of this corner badly, but he doesn't, I'm afraid. And it looks like Tony Richet, in all the chaos, comes out as a victor. It's Valentino Labella in 2nd, Nathan in 3rd, 2 new names, and immediately go into the top 3. That will impress their teams for sure. Criterium in 4th, Ivan Santamaria in P5, Krizik in 6th. Good results there for NLR, I think. Or that could have probably been better, to be fair. George Chalkley in P7, Candy King in 8th. And it looks like WR will still be scoring some points in 9th and 10th. Although not as many as they would have liked. Noé Grosjean in 11th, and we'll see the rest in a moment. Whew. And this is a deserved driver of the day. Nathan Samba, despite his mistake, he's done a fantastic job. He was the surprise of the race for me. Oh, that's very slippery on the podium, apparently. As ABS finally gets a victory, and on their home track as well, which is, of course, what they needed and what they deserved. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry about that. I'll be trying to make as many screenshots as possible. Your race results here, only 2 DNFs, both from ET, unfortunately. Looks like Spark will be scoring points with 1 car still. Something they'll be needing. Absolutely fascinating race. Very well then. ABS finally won. Their curse has been broken, although not really for Noé Grosjean. Tony Richet, though, gets the victory. And fastest lap is for Valentino Labella. An extra point for OP as well. Some good results for ERT. Look at that. 3rd and 7th. Absolutely brilliant. They'll be absolutely celebrating there tonight. Criterium, a nice recovery drive from 15th up to 4th place. NLR, some good points there. I wonder if they'll be leading the championship. Let's do some maths after the potential interviews. Podium was definitely possible for Krizix. It's just that something happened midway in the race, I believe, on top of my head. Righto! I hope somebody is going to be in for an interview. Near losing my voice here. Good grief. Let's see if... unfortunately, Tony cannot give an interview. He has to go. Shame. Would have liked to have heard from his point of view how this race was. Let's hope any of the other two can give us some insight on this fascinating race, to say the least. Ah, Nathan would like to give an interview. That's excellent. He has to be invited to the Discord, though. Right, now that we've all taken a breather, a very, very strong race for many of the drivers. WR for the first time on the back foot. Well, it is good for the championship. It's not good for the team, of course, and they'll be licking their wounds after tonight with only P9 and P10. I'm not sure from the top of my head how many points every position is paying. Not sure if I can find that somewhere quickly. Let's see. I believe it's in the rule book. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Right, so then, P9 and P10 is 10 and 8 points. As we have... Nathan, if you could join the waiting room voice chat. If you can see it, though. Not sure if you have the ability to. You should be given your roles first before you can join, I believe. You should tag Ace in the Discord if you can, and then you can join the waiting room. We'll be waiting for Nathan to be able to join us. There we go. There we are then, it works. Absolutely brilliant. Can you hear me? And can we hear you? Yes, perfect. Awesome. Well, what can I say? That must be... At one side it must be great, and the other side must be a bit disappointing, because you were leading the race in the final few laps until something happened. The question is, what happened?
It's indeed very nice to finish on the podium, but it could have been better. What happened is I touched the white line under braking and my car just went the other way. So I'm actually kind of glad I saved it, but yeah, I'm still very happy. It's good points for the team, so. Yeah,
you started somewhere around P14, 15 from the top of my head. Qualifying for you, how was that?
Horrible, because during quali my steering wheel had an issue where my wheelbase shaft completely came off, so I had to reassemble it, and
Oh
then
dear.
on my last run, I missed the finish line by like 4 seconds. So
Oh, yeah, that's not good. And then came the race, of course. It started all dry and fancy, and then the rain came. And I think you prefer the rain conditions.
that's actually correct. Although I didn't expect to have any pace in the rain today, because I used a very low downforce setup. So on the straights, I was insanely fast in the rain, and somehow I also got the traction. So I think either my setup was OP somehow, or I got very lucky.
Is it safe to say that you were not expecting to fight for the lead of the race?
Not at all. Looking at all the different names in the lobby, last season I raced in F9 in PSGL, so I didn't expect to race people like Tony and Valentino and stuff. So it was a surprise.
Yeah, I was saying to the viewers during the race that you were the surprise name in the front of the pack, and that must have felt special to fight for the lead today.
Yeah, I think this race has given me such a motivation boost to maybe do better. So I hope I can keep my pace like this, and I hope to be in the front for more races.
Yeah, I'm looking at your team standings right now. ERT is last at the moment with only 9 points, but you and George have scored big time tonight, so I think they'll be very happy with you and George.
Yeah, I hope so. Seeing where we both started in the race, I think we both were like P14 and 15 or something like that. So seeing where we finished, I think it's very good for the team.
Yeah, I can see it's 26 points for you and 14 for George, so well done, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no worries.
Cheers. Right, some other information on points, which I didn't know. You also get 2 points for pole position, and of course the normal point for the fastest lap. So that's interesting. So plenty of points still to be gained. Let's have a little look at the calendar, now that we are at the end of tonight's stream. The calendar is as follows. We are almost at the halfway point. Next week we'll be driving around in Italy, aka Monza, not Imola, Monza, which will be another very, very fast track. And I'm predicting some other interesting results, interesting racing, close combat, in fact. It's been brilliant, and it's good to be back. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Let's see what the championship will be doing heading into Italy next week. Hope to see you then. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Thank you, and see you next time. Goodbye.